From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be in Beijing for a few days of talks on trade and security issues beginning today. Carney's visit comes as Canada and China try to move past years of diplomatic tensions, and Ottawa pushes to double non-U.S. trade by 2035. Canadian farmers are hoping for a breakthrough on punishing tariffs.
A spokesperson with the Canadian Canola Growers Association says Beijing's steep tariffs on the major prairie crop will cost producers at least $2 billion this year if the issue isn't resolved. Carney's trip to China starts today, and he'll be joined by cabinet ministers and Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe. The Prime Minister is also set to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday. Don Mitchell, the Canadian Press.
Dylan Lowe, a professor at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, says Carney's trip to China brings a chance to reset the relationship.
This first visit is not going to be the complete path breaker, but it does signal to both Canadian audiences and to Chinese audiences that there is a real will to try to restore and normalize ties.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is meeting today with Danish and Greenlandic officials in Washington. This as U.S. President Donald Trump insists on controlling Greenland. Greenlanders say the Arctic island, which is a semi-autonomous region of Denmark, is not for sale. A new poll suggests nearly one-third of Canadians think the U.S. might attempt direct action to take control of Canada following America's recent military intervention in Venezuela. Mounties in northwestern Manitoba say 14 students and a driver were taken to hospital yesterday morning after it's believed a school bus rolled off a slippery highway while trying to pass another bus north of Swan River. RCMP say 4 of those aboard suffered significant injuries and were airlifted to Winnipeg. At an unrelated event in Gimli, Premier Wab Kinew was asked by reporters if seatbelts should be added to school buses.
What was the cause of this accident? What was the nature of the injuries? What would be the safety measure that would come out of it? I'm very open to hearing, but we don't have that information yet.
The bus was taking students aged 16 to 18 from the Sepatoyak Cree Nation to 2 different schools in Swan River. And Canadian actor Kiefer Sutherland has been arrested in Los Angeles, accused of assaulting a rideshare driver.
Kiefer Sutherland was arrested early Monday morning after what the LAPD says was an altercation with a rideshare driver in Hollywood. The radio call was for an assault involving the driver, and Sutherland is listed as a suspect accused of assaulting the driver and entering the vehicle. He was arrested on suspicion of felony criminal threats. No injuries required medical treatment. Sutherland has posted a $50,000 bond and is due in court next month. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, it was a busy night for Canadian NHL teams. The Toronto Maple Leafs returned to earth after an overtime win the night before against Colorado. They lost 6-1 to the Utah Mammoth. The Washington Capitals got an overtime goal from Connor McMichael to get a 3-2 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. Nashville needed overtime to score a 4-3 win over the Edmonton Oilers. Winnipeg beat the New York Islanders 5-4. Columbus racked up a 5-3 win over the Calgary Flames, and the Vancouver Canucks are now 0-5 on their 6-game road trip after falling 2-1 to the Ottawa Senators. The Toronto Raptors had the night off. They'll be returning to action tonight in Indiana. And Canadian tennis star Marina Stakusic took a major step toward qualifying for the Australian Open with a quick 2-set victory over a Serbian opponent Wednesday in Melbourne. The 21-year-old from Mississauga, Ontario, will face Lin Zhu of China in the final qualifying round. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.